Welcome to Sharing My Truth with Mel and Susie, the uncensored version, where we bear it all.
We do.
And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sharing My Truth Pod. You're here with the lovely Mel, and I'm Susie, and we are so happy that you joined us today to have a little chat. Wherever you're listening to this, thank you so much for joining in. You can subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening to it, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else that we have no idea where you're from. And if you want to follow us on the socials, you guys can connect with us there at Share My Truth Pod, or go to our website and you guys share your truths with us on our website. You can leave us a voicemail, email, whatever you want. Give us a fun story, and you might even be on the pod at sharemytruth.com. Hey, babes.
Wow. Hey, babes.
What an intro, hey?
Hey, darling, even. That was quite an intro.
You got to give people the information.
You have, and they've got it.
They've got it because I keep telling them.
You better bloody go and look at it. Anyway.
But yeah, we're so happy that you guys are joining us. We have a fun little episode. We're going to talk about something that Mel knows quite a bit about.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Our MILF in residence.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, obviously you don't have a lot of experience in it, but your friends might.
They might. Yes.
Maybe you know some people who have been in situations like this.
Definitely do. Yeah.
We're talking about, I mean, the not so formal term is cougar.
Cougar, yes.
Miss Cougars.
Yes.
And why are they so popular nowadays? And they're in the media. There are so many TV shows, so many movies that are coming out with like, and I want to say like older, as in like maybe these women are 50.
Yeah.
Right?
Generally,
maybe late 40s. And they're like going out with like 20 somethings, early 30 somethings maybe.
Generally,
and they're making it a huge part of kind of like the norm of society now. But I don't think, and we've talked about this and you corrected me, but like, I don't know any older, in quotations, women going out with younger men.
I do.
And you do.
Yeah.
So like I have never actually seen this in person. And I also I have quite a few guy friends, and I don't know any one of them that has gone out with an older woman who has had a relationship with an older woman. Do you know what I mean?
100%. I don't think it's for everyone.
Yeah, no.
But I do think a lot of men are into it.
Well, I can definitely see the appeal, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of milfy. If you're good looking, if you're hot, even if you have like kids or whatever, it's like the fact that this woman has her shit together and maybe she's divorced or whatever it is, or maybe she's still married and needs a little side piece or something like that, right? Like, and she knows what she likes, she knows what she wants, and she likes to fuck still. Maybe her husband doesn't fuck her anymore. And it's a good situation for them.
I think there are two reasons it's in the press or in like mainstream kind of content. In the press, that sounds very old fashioned, doesn't it? In content, like Netflix shows and stuff like that. And there's been one with Nicole Kidman, one with Anne Hathaway. There's one that I saw, I'm very sorry, it was terrible, with Laura Dern and one of those brothers, Hemsworth.
The Hemsworths.
Yeah. And I think it's largely because we've talked about older men and younger women to death. And we're bored of it. And we want a new thing. It's a little bit taboo because it's still for a lot of people like, ew, she's old and he's young. It's kind of, ugh. For some reason, a lot of people are grossed out by that. And I just think it's a new thing to talk about, and why not? And also there happen to be a lot of actresses who are in their 50s looking great, because it's a weird phenomenon that now if you're in your 50s, and I don't mean this in like, I say you're allowed to kind of wear whatever you want, whatever. I don't mean that allowed. I mean, it's just like society isn't so, oh, you have to look old. Whereas I would say like when my mother was 50, and my mother's actually quite youthful looking, but I'd say most women, they'd sort of cut their hair really short into that very sort of Golden Girls matronly sort of haircut. Then they'd wear very frumpy clothes.
Yeah, they've just like lost all their sex appeal, sexuality.
100%.
Even though we know now, right, that once you're in menopause or like kind of going through it or just getting out of it, you're horny as ever.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, the complete misconception.
Right?
I mean, it's funny, like we see that in all our comments that women aren't interested in sex and older women like, what women are you meeting?
Yeah, what are you talking about? Maybe they're just not interested in you.
Exactly. I mean, that's about it. But I think it's also just women look a lot more youthful. Obviously, you know, a lot of women have Botox or have done, not necessarily procedures, but there's lots of kind of non-invasive kind of things you can do to make your skin look very youthful.
Yeah.
People tend to be fitter, healthier.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think the way you dress and the way your hair is and stuff like that, like I'm all for, like, I love clothes, I love products, I love stuff, but I'm very into, I think you kind of try and dress kind of appropriately. I'd never want to look, my horror is like, oh my God, somebody would say she's trying to look like she's 25. But I think most older women are not doing that. They just look great for their age. Like you kind of know they're not obviously 35 or 45 or whatever. By the way, I'm not talking about me. I'm just talking about women. But they just look great.
Yeah.
And I think it is a relatively new thing. Like I saw this interview recently, and it's an older interview of Kim Cattrall, who's in her 60s and looks
I was
amazing.
literally just about to bring up the fact that, like, because Samantha, obviously in Sex and the City, like, she was literally wearing whatever the fuck she wanted in that show.
Yeah,
right?
and she was meant to be in her 40s. She was in her 40s.
Yeah.
And she was meant to be in her 40s. And this interview was with 𝐾𝐸 𝐤𝐤, I think.
Yeah.
This is from a while ago. And she said, you know, when the show started and she was in her 40s, in that time when Sex and the City first came out, when I was first watching it, which I guess would have been late 90s.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a thing. Like, you know, they talk about 50s the new 40 and 60s the new, or 60s the new 40, 50s the new whatever. Like 40, you were over the hill.
Yeah.
You were old.
Crazy.
And those concepts have, to be fair, really gone away a lot.
Yeah.
And people don't talk about it as much. And I just think that a lot of these actresses who've been around for a very long time, who are young and famous, so we know them, and they're now like 50 and 60. So it makes perfect sense and they look great to have.
Well, I think it's also different. Like if these women have, the women who are just like trying to look their best, right? Like they appreciate their appearance and they want to look their best. So like the ones who don't have kids, I find, are much more into wearing something very more scandalous than the ones who are mothers and who maybe have adult children or something like that. Like you see, like Reese Witherspoon looks fucking incredible. She's about your age. Maybe a little bit, like 40,
little
40
younger.
46, something like that.
She's a bit younger, and she's got sort of around, and she's got 3 kids.
But she doesn't, I mean, I think it's just her personality too. But she, like, I've never seen her in something that looks scandalous. But she looks amazing. You know
like
what I mean?
Nicole Kidman doesn't wear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like 𝐥𝐢𝐿, who is actually a mother, but will look like she'll wear the high, you know.
And I think she actually... I have a comment to make about Jen.
Oh,
so I saw her in a magazine recently. Can't think of what it was. And she was wearing this kind of like knit cardigan thing with crystals. Top was very nice.
Yeah.
But she's wearing these little knit hot pants. I'm just like, no.
But she's got great legs.
She has, but it just looked ridiculous. Now you're taking it too far, and that looks stupid.
I mean, there are things to say. I think like these people have stylists. You know what I mean?
It looked stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, she looks incredible. You know, let's not forget all these people have a lot of help.
Well, yeah.
With their face, their body, and everything. She looks amazing. Also, please, everyone remember, you're looking through it with a lens. Like if you saw her up personal, it's different to what you're seeing when people don't think that physically and your skin and everything. But there is a point. Like you're 50 years old, and I'm all for, like, you know, literally like wear what you want. If you like wearing lots of jewelry, or you like having your hair, or whatever the fuck it is, do what you want.
Yeah.
But I don't think
except put your pussy out.
Well, if her pussy wasn't out, it was just she had these. I just thought, I'm not even sure I would have liked it on a young. I just didn't think it looked great.
So it was just the outfit, maybe.
I just thought it was too much.
But you know, I think
you know, you do you.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like if I mean, who the fuck knows what I'm gonna want to look like when I'm older?
Yeah,
I don't even want to think about it. It's scary.
Yeah.
Terrifying. But I mean, if I still have a fucking great bod when I am when I'm 50. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna still wear a bikini, and I'm still gonna like.
That's not what I'm saying.
Look
I think
hot
even
if I can.
even if you don't, or you have whatever you have, who cares? Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know, feel good about yourself. That's not what I'm saying.
I mean, Catherine
didn't-
Zeta-Jones looks amazing.
She
Salma
does.
Hayek looks amazing.
Yeah, but she dresses really nicely.
Yes.
And it sounds so like old fashioned, like appropriately, like it's really enhancing her beauty.
Yes.
Is what I'm saying.
Totally.
Like Nicole Kidman, I think she's actually had a little bit too much work done on her face, but that's a separate conversation.
Nicole Kidman, yeah.
She's gone a little bit too far. But in terms of her clothes, excuse me. Sorry. I think she's very appropriate. Like it's enhancing her.
Yeah.
Like clothes or your hair or anything. Don't you want it to enhance you?
I mean, well, this brings us back to
cougars.
the cougars.
Yeah.
So how many of these older women that we're talking about that are celebrities are dating younger men? And really all I can think of is like Madonna. Cher. Yes, that's a good one. But like not many of them are actually dating younger, like below their age.
I'm thinking there was a comment on Instagram about this. And like all these women with these much younger boyfriends and, you know, maybe your guy isn't born yet.
Okay, I did see that.
I was just like that's a little bit gross. I'm trying to think. There are a couple. There's actually a very famous producer in England who is quite well known, and she's like was in her 40s, and she was married and had children, started dating him, and he was like 20, and then it was a bit of a scandal, and then they got married and had more children. It's like 20 years different.
Oh wow, yeah.
And there's a couple like Instagram people, if you sort of follow people I know, are married to much younger men, like 20 years younger.
Right. I mean, it's just so normal when we see it from like a guy, from like a man dating like a 20-year-old. We're like, yeah, we get it. Like, obviously. And then when we see a woman doing that, we see like a 50-year-old woman dating someone in their like 30s. We're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's such a weird like
it's very weird. And people, I think one of the things is if people are in long-term relationships, and let's say a man is in his 20s or his 30s, and he wants to have children, there's a reality, and that's often what happens. You know, I mean, I think I've told you this, and I've mentioned this before. My mum had a string of young toy boys, like
boy toys, yeah,
probably like 20 years younger than her. And one guy was quite serious. My mum must have been in her 40s, and he was sort of barely 30, and he wanted children, and she didn't want children. So that obviously is a thing, and I don't think men think about it as much.
Yeah,
because obviously they don't physically have to have the children, so it's not. And then there's sort of you're going through the relationship, and it's like, oh shit, you know, now what do we do? But yeah, I don't think society likes it very much.
No,
they see these young men, and they think it just looks wrong.
We're just like, why? Like, you have your whole life to live. Don't you want children? Like all these things.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, maybe they don't, or maybe they just don't care, or maybe they just like they like a woman who is not like doesn't know what she wants in the world. You know what I mean? Where these women have their own kids, their own lives already. Yeah. They're not so obsessed with the relationship, possibly.
Yeah.
You know, like there's so many pluses to an older woman.
100%. I think there are lots of reasons, like, you know, when you get older, irrespective of your appearance, you just don't care as much about what people think about you. So there's a confidence in that.
Yes, you're going to wear what you want. You're going to do what you want with your like self and your body and whatever.
And
you're
not insecure. You're not worried about people. Obviously, sexually, you're much more experienced.
Yeah.
Even if you haven't had lots of partners, you kind of know what to do. Susie, no, I'm joking. Is you're a bit more kind of. I think maybe you're a bit more patient as well. Like there's lots of things that just come with age, and that also you're not meeting somebody probably to sort of forge a life. Like you're really just interested in that person for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, people just read into this too much. I mean, for Christ's sake, if you meet somebody and you like them, you just like them and that's it.
I know.
And I know people, even like, you know, our friendship, people have a really hard time with it.
People are like, what the fuck do you like?
They think it's very strange.
They actually think it's so weird. They're like, who is this woman that you do your podcast with?
Yes.
And I'm like, well, one, it's none of your fucking business. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but they don't get it.
No, yeah, they think we're swingers.
Of course they do. They think
so funny.
They think something is dubious going on, and I'm sorry to upset everyone. God. It isn't.
Don't ruin their vibes,
sorry.
Mel. We could be swingers.
Actually, it is. Yeah. But people just they want things to be the way they should.
Yeah.
And then so they don't. It kind of bugs them.
Well, yeah. Like we obviously talked about this before, but like, you know, I'd way rather date an older guy who knows what he's doing
Yeah.
and who has his shit together and is not going to be so obsessed with like just like where we are in our relationship.
Yeah.
Where it's like most older guys aren't like that.
Mhm.
There's a lot of younger guys who are more like texting all the time and like,
Right.
you know, they don't
Right.
have their own lives yet. They
Right.
don't really know what they want yet. And I'm like, that's so unattractive to me. Like, I'd way rather have an older guy. And a lot of, for these guys, these younger guys who are dating older women, they probably think the same thing.
100%. And from a sexual point of view, obviously older men like younger women because of the way they look.
Well, yeah.
But young men who are into older women is because A, they know what to do, and B, perhaps the men, as men get older, they can have issues downstairs.
Right.
And young men don't.
Yes.
And so there's lots of benefits. And I think, look, this has been going on forever. It's nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that we've decided that we're going to talk about it
Mm-hmm.
because we talked about everything else.
Yep.
So like we do move on to the next subject. And it's sort of a little bit taboo.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
not really, but a little
it
bit.
is, though, because I think we just expect women to kind of not have a sex life after a certain time.
100%.
We don't even want to think about women over 50 having sex. And it's like,
100%.
what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
What do you
there's
think?
like, what do you
women
think?
in their 60s and their 80s.
But we
are,
expect
you know,
the 80-year-olds to still be dating
Yeah.
20-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like 80-year-old
Yeah.
men, I mean. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, you're just like putting these, like, in quotes, like older women in a
Yeah.
box.
I think
It doesn't make sense.
I think it also bothers people because I saw something, I think it was yesterday, and it's some famous guy that I can't think what his name is, and he's like 75.
Yeah.
I think Max said he's like a coach of some big American football team, so of course I don't know what his name is. And he's his new girlfriend, and he looks like a man in his 60s.
Right.
And his girlfriend is drop dead gorgeous. She's 24.
Really? Yeah.
And you're like, what goes through everyone's head? Yeah, well, I know why he's dating her. And because she, you know, she's absolutely gorgeous. She looks like a, you know, Hollywood sort of
Yeah.
starlet or whatever. He's got loads of money. That's what goes through your head.
Of course.
And for some reason, that's okay. But when we see an older woman, we're a bit like, ooh, like, why is that young, good-looking man? What does he see in her? And I think
It's so
particularly
bad.
women look at older women, and if they're with a younger man, they're like, I don't get it.
Uh-huh.
Why is he looking at her when he could have me?
Right.
And you're like, if you're thinking that, you've lost the point
Yeah.
of why he likes her.
Exactly.
He's interested in her because she's interesting, she's sexually experienced, because she's confident.
And she
all
probably
of
has
those
money,
things.
too.
Yeah, all of those things. And she's not insecure. She's probably not a drama queen, blah, 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 which is probably why. And then people, you know, you meet people and everyone doesn't fall into boxes. And that's it, really. I just think, for whatever reason, you know, media's just picked up on it. And I think it is also because a lot of these actresses are hitting their 50s.
Mm.
And it is great
Mm.
that they're getting roles, because that was always
Yes.
a complaint.
That
And
too.
you, as an actress, you're young, but I guess you'll find as you go through your career that, you know, I think previously you just got less and less and less job.
For sure.
And then at a certain point, you're just playing mothers, or you're just playing this, or you're just playing whatever. And now this is interesting. This is like, and it's interesting. It's like, this isn't boring. Okay, we can believe that. Why
Yeah.
not? You know?
No, I mean, this is how I can see my life going, is that I marry an older guy
Mm.
and then I get his money. And then once I'm like 50, I start dating a younger guy. That's how I
Wow.
see my timeline going.
So I haven't calculated this at all. No. But I think there's another thing though, like, because we started by saying cougar, and I don't even know if that's.
Is that a
Well,
proper term?
Do people say that anymore?
I say it.
You say it. But cougar,
I don't know if that means anything, but
obviously the idea is that it's these older women, like literally on the hunt, on the prowl.
yes, you're
And
right.
so that's a little bit unfair to a lot of older women who aren't necessarily on the hunt. They've met these younger men for whatever reason.
They
the
might be
question-
on the hunt,
The
though.
question is, where have they met them?
Bars.
Bars, yeah, I guess.
They have to have met them in like
'Cause
somewhere
where would
like
you meet
that.
them?
Because yeah, where else would you be? Well, like, so there's a place in Toronto,
Mm.
and it's on King, and
Mm.
it's literally known to be a cougar bar. I've personally actually never been there,
Interesting.
but I do have younger guy friends, like not younger, but like they're my age, who will go to this bar and they know it's a cougar bar.
Oh, interesting.
And I don't know if they're like actually hooking up with these like older women, but it's just like kind of maybe more fun
Why not?
to like hang out with them.
Yeah, I mean, I also think it is more of a phenomenon in Europe because, like, I was recently in Paris, and I go to Paris quite often.
And a lot of Parisian women actually, I feel like, do that.
And you notice, like, I notice younger men do look at older women, like men in Europe, and I'm not including the UK, but I think it does happen. Men just look at women as like a less, you notice it, there's less of a categorization.
That's so interesting.
That you're young or whatever. And it's quite shocking. You're just like, oh, that's weird. Like, why is that man?
So you're the
looking at
hottest
me?
commodity.
I just think
when
men
you go to Paris.
No, not me in particular. I just think men look at women.
Right.
Full stop. Or put it this way, they admire women.
Right.
More. And so it's not necessarily that you're young, you're old, you're just attractive, and that's it. I mean, you could be 70 and attractive.
I love that, though.
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, some really hot women in Paris. And Parisian women, just the way they dress.
The way they do everything is so much better.
Everything is amazing.
Yeah.
Their hair,
so much
their
more
makeup,
glamorous.
very glamorous, but very natural.
Yes.
So kind of put together, but not put together.
Yes. It's just like effortless.
It's
gorgeous.
And I think women, they're very secure in their femininity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think probably in North America, particularly, women are struggling with all this shit.
For sure.
Where does my femininity fit into the woke feminist bullshit stuff? Like, where am I in all of that?
Yeah.
Like, can I be the boss bitch and be feminine and all this
it's like,
stuff?
just shut the fuck up and like
just
live your life.
Just be.
God damn it.
Be you. If you are feminine, be feminine. If you're
someone's
not,
making you
don't.
feel bad for doing something or not doing something, that's the problem.
Yeah.
But
and I would say that's a comment, and I just can say that because I was just there, is I think women are very secure, particularly in somewhere like Paris, in their, and in European countries like Italy and Spain, very secure in their femininity. So that's very appealing. So you don't have to be a certain age for a man to look at you. So I think that's the thing. But I mean, how many women are doing it? I don't know. But I think it also, if the other thing is, if you're single and you're in your late 40s and 50s, and you're not saying the person has to be this age and has to be that and has to be the other. I mean, it opens up your possibilities more, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So why not? And if you're both, at the end of the day, if you're in a relationship with somebody where you both are getting something out of being together and something from the relationship, and nobody, let's say you, and obviously very quite possibly you've met a young man, he doesn't want to have children, so you just have a fun time.
Can we just talk about how it's okay to have just a fun time with
100%.
someone?
And that just go and do that. You meet somebody, you have some fun.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be the love of your life.
Okay,
you don't have to end in marriage.
Exactly.
You're just having a fun time.
And that actually brings us to our What's the Tea today.
Yes.
But before we get into that, we're going to take a small, teeny, tiny little break to hear from one of our little sponsors.
We are.
Sharing My Truth Pod is so excited to partner with Vibrator.com, where the A in vibrator is the number 8. This is an extremely exclusive code where no other podcast has it. If you go to Vibrator.com right now, use the code MS15, that's MS15 at Vibrator.com. You can now get 15% off anything in store. That's any sex toys for you, your partner, your neighbor, your mom. We don't judge. We don't care. Get it now. Go to the link in our bio, put in the code, and get jiggy with it. Okay, so into...
Yes.
So we were just talking about how, you don't have to be in love with the person to have a little bit of fun, or you know what I mean? You can just enjoy the person being with the person, and you don't have to think about the future with them.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But that brings us to people as what they call themselves, demisexuals.
Yeah. And I'd never actually heard the term before.
I've never heard the term either.
But it's a thing. And this is an article and there've been several articles. This is again from my favorite, 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐤 magazine. And so do you want me to tell you what it means?
Yes, I really do.
So, being demisexuality is a type of asexuality and is defined as having no sexual attraction without emotional connection. Less than 1% of the population reportedly identify as asexual, but numbers are growing as awareness spreads. That's thanks to blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay, so basically...
Thanks to what? What?
That's thanks boring. So
Got
I had to carry on reading. So I'll just go back to that. That's thanks to many other public figures who too have spoken out about their demisexual or asexuality.
Okay, well, here's the tea about that, right?
Yeah.
One,
there's
I
other
don't really
things.
understand that why that's an asexuality thing, because I thought if to be asexual, you don't want to have sex at all. So why would demisexual be in the asexual family? Is it because asexuality, you also kind of just have to like the person to kind of want to be with them?
Because, so this article is talking about this. This is a singer in the UK called 𝐶, who made a sort of, I guess, public confession, she called it, I'm demisexual. She said of her attitude towards sex and dating, I need to have a really close emotional bond with somebody. I need actual depth. I'm a slow burner. I've been celibate for over 3 years.
Holy shit.
That's a very long time.
But if you don't need sex, right? Like if your body isn't telling you that you need sex.
I'm not sure it's, so asexuality is when you're not interested in sex.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure with asexuality. I think there are people who are just asexual from, the beginning, and they're just not, sex is not of interest to them. So the complete reverse of you.
Exactly.
So if you think about it, if you are a thing, then that's got to be a thing.
That's, you're absolutely
what I mean?
right. You're absolutely
The opposite
right.
is always a thing.
Unbelievable.
So, but I think asexuality also you can become asexual. Obviously you can change, right? You can become not interested in sex for a whole variety of reasons. But demisexuality is it's not just physical.
Yeah, you need
your
that.
mind and your body and everything to get turned on, basically. So it means that you will not feel in the mood.
Here's the thing.
If you're not emotionally connected.
Here's the thing. Do these people masturbate?
Well, this is a very good question.
I would like to know because if you don't feel any like horniness at all, unless that other person is there, that's putting so much pressure on another person.
It is.
For your own sexual desires and pleasure.
It puts a huge amount of pressure. It also means,
and I'm not trying to like be like goat down on the demisexuals here, but I just want to know more information as to like how this works, because if you're trying to live for you, if this person that you're really interested in and in love with like leaves you or something, are you just like, you just never have sex again? Like what?
Well, here's another thing. So here they're talking about another person, 𝐵𝐸 Rowan, who I don't know who that is.
Oh,
who's 𝐵𝐸 Rowan?
She's like a gay pop icon right now. She's like very hot right now.
Never heard of her.
Have you heard of the song "Hot to Go"? Have your daughters been singing it to you at all?
Maybe, but I just
got it. Yeah. It's very Gen Z. She's a very Gen Z artist.
Right, well, I'm sure she's lovely, but I've never heard of her.
Yeah.
Anyway, she considers herself demisexual in a 2023 episode of the We're Having Gay Sex podcast, saying that the thought of one-night stands give her crazy anxiety. But I think that's a different thing, one-night stands, because I know friends of mine who've never had a one-night stand, and obviously lots of everyone else who mostly have. But and some people really, really don't like it, and I completely understand that. But I think that's very different.
Yeah, like
that's just like you don't like the idea of meeting a complete stranger
and fucking them.
Yeah, which, on many levels, we've talked about this many times, is a little bit gross if you really give it to a lot of thought.
No, for sure. You do not want to give it a lot of thought.
Yeah. You don't, I think I said this before, like, we'd never sit on a public toilet seat.
No.
But you'd go and meet some guy and, it's a bit bizarre, isn't it?
It is.
But so I understand why people really don't like that scenario for a whole host of reasons. But I think that's different. We're talking about, well, what if you just have a fling? Or you just have a little...
like a friends with bennies kind of thing. And you like the person and they're a good fuck, but you don't really have any like relationship attachment to them.
I think lots of people don't do that. I think lots of people do and lots of people don't.
Yeah, people are very weird about who they let put their dick in them. But also who they let put their pussy on them.
But do you know, is that a sense? Are you suggesting that's not a sensible idea?
I just think it's like, as long as you're being safe, right? Like you're like using protection and like, you know what I mean? Like maybe you're asking the right questions, whatever, about like when last time they've been tested and all these things that you should be asking a new partner. It's like,
yeah, because that conversation really happens.
I ask any new person, when's the last time you've been tested? And you don't have to make it weird.
And what if they lie?
Well, then so you're still wearing a condom though.
Okay.
But it's nice because you can sometimes tell if you catch people off guard, you can tell if they're lying or not.
Wow. Okay.
Anyways,
Right.
but I try to always ask a question and like not make it weird, but just like say, but yeah, like it's just like it's okay to just not take it so seriously. I think that's what it's
100%.
what this is.
Yeah, but I agree. But I think there are, as with anything in life, there are lots of different kinds of people. So there are people like you who view it in one way, and then there are people who need to have more of emotional connection, or they don't like one night stands, or they don't like the idea of sort of flings or whatever. And that's completely normal. There's a whole range going from one end to the other. So that's why, like, demisexuality, think to yourself, isn't that just like a lot of people who just want to have a connection?
Well,
but
exactly.
The problem is those people judge the people who are just interested in the physical. And you're just like, why doesn't everyone just mind their own business and do their own thing?
We can't mind our own business here, okay?
I mean, just do your thing. What is right for you? But people just can't, can they?
I just want people to have fun.
But yeah, so it's a thing. But then it's a bit like being aromantic is a thing. It's like, are we just finding all these
aromantic as in you don't want to have any romance, or you only want to have romance?
So this is another person. So who's 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞?
I don't know.
Okay, I think that might be a British actress. She considers herself aromantic, which is another type of asexuality that describes having little or no romantic attraction to others. Right. So does that mean you're asexual if you're aromantic? I don't know.
Little or no sexual attractive?
No. Little or no romantic attraction to others.
But you still want to have sex?
No.
You just don't want any romance?
I don't think you want any of it. Or maybe you do.
No, I think you want to just have sex. You just don't want to have the romance. Maybe the romance gives you the ick.
Really?
Because I can kind of get that. If a man is like, I wrote you a song and I want to play it for you, ick.
Yeah.
But if a guy's like, I want to buy you dinner, that's a hot.
I need to find out now.
An aromantic person?
I have, you see all these terms and you're like, oh, we're just making everything so complicated.
No, we are. And it's honestly getting unbelievable.
Aromantic has multiple meanings, no, that's not what that is.
Wikipedia.
What does it mean to be aromantic? This is saying having an aroma. That's fucking, that's because I look. No, aromantic.
Wait, maybe you're just not reading it. She's trying to see what's aromatic. What's aromatic?
I'm trying to Google aromatic. Okay,
you're like, why is this not coming up? Oh my god, that's so funny.
That's very funny. Okay, I am gonna get to this and then
sure
shut up.
No, that's fine.
Okay, aromantic. I'm here now. I've added the N in. Experiencing little or no romantic attraction to anyone, not having romantic feelings. I identify as an aromantic asexual. Oh my god, this is so complicated. Okay.
Can we just make it simple for us?
Okay. What is aromantic versus asexual? Aromantic means not having any romantic attractions. Asexual means that not having any sexual attractions. The two types of attractions are not the same and are not linked. That is to say, neither is dependent on the other existing for it to exist.
No.
That's what it says. It should be noted that sexual attraction and sexual... Oh my god, you're making this way too complicated.
Okay, can we just ask, like, if there's anyone who's listening here,
can somebody tell
me?
Who
is asexual or aromantic, can you please just, like, reply to us and explain what it is? Like, what is this?
I know what asexual... That term's been around forever.
I get it. Yeah.
So
you don't want to
aromantic...
You don't want to have sex at all.
Does that mean that you're only interested in sex or you're not? Or perhaps it means you could be two types of aromantic. So you could be somebody who's not interested in sex or romance, because some asexuals are interested in romance but not sex. So you could be interested in romance but not... And I don't know. But demisexual, getting back to the point, is that you need a sexual. No, that's the...
No, you need
an emotional connection to the person that you're doing. Yes.
Yeah? And that's the tea.
And that's it. I got nothing else.
Fuck me. Why do I have to make it so hard?
Yeah. I don't know.
But I do understand, like, I was, like, I'm bi, obviously, and they're, straight people don't understand bi people a lot of the time. They're like, just pick a side.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I
But
mean?
gay
So
people
it's like
say that too.
oh yeah, no,
Pick
you're
a
right for
side.
sure. So if someone's on
Yeah.
one side, they're like pick a side.
Yeah.
You know, stay with like gender neutral people. It's like just pick one.
Yeah.
Obviously, people don't. People are weird. People are different. This is what's happening. Obviously, me, I don't understand this demisexual thing.
Right. And there are many levels.
Because what would be me? Extra sexual? What's my term?
Yeah.
Overtly? Oh.
Yeah. What is that? You're like the complete reverse.
Exactly.
Of asexual.
I'll have to look it up.
I think that's just sexual, Susie. I think that's pretty fucking simple. The definition of the term.
No, because I feel like there's sexual people and then there's sexual people.
Really?
You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah.
Like more than you?
No, I feel like there's sexual people and then there's me.
Well, what are the sexual
Like, I
people
feel like
doing?
you're sexual.
Yeah.
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 But are you sexual?
Oh.
Oh.
Well, I guess that's because I had one partner, and so I think people have a different view in their head of
Got it.
what that means. Right?
Sure. I don't know.
Because they think because you're having sex with the same person that you're not really having sex with them because you've been married to them for a long time.
But you still want to have sex with them all the time.
Well, no, I mean,
Yeah.
put
As
it this
much
way.
as you
I have a
want.
husband who's very interested in me.
I'm obsessed with that.
So that's good, isn't it?
Sorry, guys.
That's
She's
good.
not going to be your cougar anytime soon.
No, that's a no.
That's a no. And we'll leave you guys there.
That's it. Yeah.
If you guys know any of these terms, or you have a
So-
new term that we want to,
It's very.
you want to bring up, you want to teach us about a new term.
I mean, there's going to be a new one, isn't there?
Every week, there's a new one of these
I
fucking
mean,
people.
Just. Okay. I mean, we just. I think we need to all relax and just live your life.
Stop making it so complicated.
know. I mean, if you can't understand
If I
Uber,
and I understand everything about this.
modern,
Super.
super like in the thing,
Mm,
and you don't, then
Get it?
it's a problem, isn't it?
it's a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Fix your problems.
Anyway,
Hope we helped. All right, guys. And we'll see you next week, I think, right?
definitely.
Subscribe, like, and follow.
Bye. Thanks so much for listening. Please rate and review this podcast and follow us on social at Sharing My Truth Pod and leave us a voicemail on our website, sharingmytruth.com, to share your stories and experiences with us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.